Mr. Peace is your speaker today. I was, like I said, lucky enough I got to hear this morning a super powerful message. It has a lot to do with our thing here at Thornton Creek about Gators Care. It has a lot to do with stuff that your teacher in our classroom recently with Martin Luther King and his birthday. So Mr. Peace's talks, he's from right here, kind of very close to Northville, Illinois, from a city called Taos. So he's not far from home, but he's spoken 20 different states around the entire country. Those stories today you'll hear far away as California and Texas. He's now touched over 1 million boys and girls. Like, you guys hear some of his messages. So there's a lot of people that have heard some of the really powerful stuff he has to say. So without any further ado, I'll give you guys Mr. Peace.
All right. Great to be here this morning. My name is Kevin, or Mr. Peace. Just to wake us up, I'm going to start with some hip hop. Does that sound good? Okay. 2 fingers up for peace. Here we go. Let's rock it. Mic check. All right.
I got something to tell you. That's why I'm here today, to rap this to hope. So listen to me and hear what I have to say. Hey, it's Mr. Peace, yeah, and you all my family. Let's break it down and start sharing about our feelings, about a new way that'll help promote healing. But be honest, pinky promise if you really want peace. And if you do, then show your hands, please. I mean, for real, we need to take responsibility by including others when you have the opportunity. At lunch or recess or even in the hallways, any chance to be a friend throughout the whole school day. Cause with peace, I need all your support. I need everyone to step it up. Grades K-4 and 5 need good role models while demonstrating non-violence. Put an end to all of the hate that you see, yo. You gotta have each other's back through the lowest of lows and the darkest shade of black. Everything in between, everything to look back. Peace brings love, that's exactly what we lack. Come on, just let them say that you're peaceful. Like this, full. And if you got peace, I got peace too. I'm saying whoa, just let them say that you're peaceful. Full. And in the words of Gandhi, peace be with you. Now listen, when I say peace, you all say in. Peace. And when I say peace, you all say out. Peace. And when I say show, you all say love. Show. And when I say be, you all say kind. Be. All right, now we're warmed up. Give yourself a round of applause. Good job. Nice. All right, 5, 4, 3, 2, peace. So listen, my name is Kevin, or Mr. Peace, and I'm actually a full-time youth pastor at a church at St. Mary's in Milford, Michigan. I was at St. James down the street here for about 3 years, doing youth ministry. You guys might remember me from there. But on my off days, my off weeks, I get to travel this whole country, all across the United States. And I get to speak to people from age 5 up to age 105. And before I begin my talks, before I start to speak to any of my audiences, I'd just like to let you guys know that every single breath that I take this morning is going to be worth your time. So my talk today has to do with these 2 individuals, Mahatma Gandhi and Martin Luther King Jr. And see, Gandhi said, to be the change
that you want to see in the world? And I saw that you have it right over your library entrance there. You have it right behind in the lunchroom here. But the full quote is actually, you must be the change you want to see for this world. He didn't just say this, he said, you must. And so what that means is that us being kind, us caring, us showing love and compassion to people around us, it's not really a choice. He's saying that we have to do this, not just if we feel like it, right? And Martin Luther King Jr., we just celebrated his birthday the other week, right? He said the time is always right to do what is right. And the right thing to do is to appreciate everybody around us, to respect everybody around us. But before we get into more, I want to ask you guys a question. How many of you guys would like a $20 bill? $20, right here. $20. All right, I'm only going to call on you if you're sitting on your bottom, respectful, crisscross applesauce. I like applesauce, the cinnamon kind. Okay, one second. How many of you still want that $20 bill? Still? Okay, one second. Anybody still want $20? You still want $20? All right, one second. Could you hold this for a second? One second. Let's go back. Let's go back. Right over here. 1 second. Excuse me. Right there. Excuse me. Back here. All right. Give her a round of applause, guys. She wanted to just hold for a second. Thank you. All right. 5, 4, 3, 2, peace. She wanted it. Listen, guys. Thornton Creek. Here's, oh, I like that. Let me try one more time. Thornton Creek. I could get used to that. Thank you. So listen. This $20 bill, the reason I do this example, it doesn't matter if I crumple it up, if I sneeze on it, if I jump on it, slam dunk, jump on it, right? It's still worth how much? $20, right? And look, I can take this $20 bill to any bank. And even though it's dirty and crinkled and wrinkled, they'll give me a fresh, crisp, clean, brand new $20 bill. No questions asked. I've done it before. But here's the thing. When it comes to things like money, so many of you, no matter what kind of shape or condition that was in, you were like, me, Mr. Peace, me. But when it comes to people around us, and in the schools that I visit, in the lunchroom, on the buses, in the hallways, in the classrooms, on recess, what I see happen too often is that when it comes to people, we don't treat them sometimes like they're worth a full $20. We don't treat them like they're worth as much as our best friend is worth. And if we don't treat everybody like we treat our best friend and see them for what's inside and also value and appreciate what's on the outside, we can cause people a lot of pain inside their hearts. And it only takes a couple seconds, right? So the talk today, here's that $20 bill so you guys can see it. But the talk today has to deal with diversity. Everybody say diversity. Diversity. And what I mean by that, diversity means differences. That we're different on the outside and the inside, and that's okay. We have to appreciate that. But even more importantly, we have to tie it in to what we stand for here at Thornton Creek. Care, cooperate, appreciate, respect, empathize. That we cooperate, we help people, even though they're different than us, even though somebody was born differently, or they walk differently, or they see differently, or hear differently, or talk differently, or learn differently. We still show them the same respect, and we appreciate, and we also empathize, which means that we walk
in someone else's shoes, right? We walk in someone else's shoes, which means I kind of put myself in their situation, and I put my heart where they're at. That maybe if they're going through a hard time, or they're the new kid at school, I kind of put myself in their shoes, and I know how they feel, and I help them out through that, right? Because diversity, it's our skin color, it's our hairstyle, it's what we wear, it's the foods we eat, it's our languages, it's where we were born, where we're from, our background, our culture. Everything on the outside is diversity, and we have to appreciate that. But it's also what's on the inside. How many of you guys are good at sports? Show me. Okay, hands down, hands down. How many of you guys are good at dancing? Hands down, hands down. How many of you guys are good at singing? Hands down, hands down. How many of you guys are good at video games? Hands down, hands down, hands down. How many of you guys are good at being a friend? Okay, hands down, hands down. So listen, Fort Creek. They didn't do the last assembly. This is good though, I like this. All those things are diversity on the inside. What you're good at, what you're not good at, your talents, your abilities, who you are, your character, that's all diversity. So we have to respect what's on the outside and what's on the inside. And even more importantly, we have to see people for this before anything. Like my shirt says, one race, human. One race, human. That we see everybody around us as human beings before anything else. So everybody go like this real quick. Everybody make a fist. Just like these students here. This was a school near the Atlantic Ocean on the East Coast in Massachusetts. But everybody go like this. All right, now go like this. No, don't do that. Listen, this right here, your fist is as big as your heart, right? But watch. If we let love, peace, respect, kindness, compassion, and appreciation for diversity fully enter into here, we turn this into this. And the reason that it's a peace sign, two, because one finger is yourself, and the other finger is someone you're trying to lift up higher than yourself, by how you treat them. But it's also in 2 seconds, in just 2 seconds, 1, 2, right? Through our words, our actions, just one word, one action, one heartbeat, we can lift somebody up higher than the clouds, that what we say or do stays on their heart in a positive way by treating them nicely. Or if we treat them negatively, what we say or do can stay in someone's heart for the rest of their life in a bad way. It only takes 2 seconds, right? But I want to prove this to you through a story, but I need some volunteers. Well, I'm going to call on you for sitting respectful again, okay? I'll take you right here. If I call your name, come up to the front, okay? I'll take both of you, come up to the front. I'll take you right here. Yep, come on. I'll take you. Yep, and one more. Let's take, who do I want to take here? Who we got so far? I will take, let's see, let's take you right here. All right, give these guys a round of applause. Good job. All right, so listen. This story is about a boy named Shay. He was in elementary school. Everybody say Shay. And this is a true story. Okay, for this story, I'm going to have you stay right here in front of this chair. Okay, you're going to be my catcher. You're going to be my pitcher. You stand right over here and then face the screen. You're going to be my first base. Can you go by this? Okay, thank you. You'll be my second base. Go back this, okay, over there. You'll be my shortstop. Can you go back this, okay, over there? And you'll be my third base. You go by this, okay, right here. Perfect. So, what sport do you think this story is about? Baseball. You got it. So listen. Here's how the story goes. It's a true story about a boy named Shay. He was in elementary school, and he had to stay after school about 30 minutes, half an hour, to finish a project. And once he finished, his dad came to pick him up to go home. And they lived right by the school, like down the street, so they could walk back home. So he got out of the school doors,
he starts walking towards home, and he sees some of his classmates playing baseball on the field outside. So he tugs at his dad's shirt and says, Dad, do you think if I ask them to play that they'll say yes? And his dad looks at him and says, sure, son, go ahead. But in his mind and in his heart, his dad thinks that they're going to say no. Because you see, Shay was born differently than a lot of us. Shay was born with one leg shorter than the other. So when he walked, he kind of had a limp like this. He couldn't really run that fast. He wasn't good at sports. He also learned a lot slower than his classmates. He was always getting put down for those two reasons. But even though his dad thought they're going to say no, he said, go ahead and ask him anyways. So Shay interrupts their game. He's like, guys, can I play? And it's the 9th inning of the game. It's the last inning. The game is tied. There's 2 outs, only 1 out to go. And he interrupts the game. He says, guys, can I play? And they all look at Shay, and one boy says, not today, Shay. Maybe next time. One other boy says, Shay, you're just not that good. And this other boy says, hey, Shay, why don't you just get lost? So his head's down like this, and he's ready to leave. And then this one boy steps forward and says, Shay can be on my team. Shay can have my spot. And it's the person who's up to bat next. And Shay's played baseball maybe once before in his life, like he's barely ever played, right? And he gets up, and it's the last inning, 2 outs, game's tied, and here comes pitch number 1, just nice and easy. Swing, and a miss. Strike 1. You can just toss it back. Nice and easy. Here comes pitch 2. Nice and easy. Go ahead. Swing and a miss. Strike 2. 3 strikes. You're out. At the old ball game. Buy me some peanuts. Okay, sorry. Toss it back. Here comes pitch 3. Nice and easy. Swing and Shay connects barely. And it rolls right back to the pitcher. It's going to be an easy out. But even though it's going to be an easy out, they said, Shay, try running to first base anyways. So he started running to first base, and the pitcher starts to walk after him. And she's just about to tag Shay, but then she throws it to the right of the first base. And they say, Shay, go to second. So the first base goes gets the ball. They say, Shay, go to second. So Shay's dodging first, second graders. It was weird stuff at the baseball field that day. And he's going to second base and coming through. And then the first base starts chasing Shay this way. And Shay's going to second. But then she tosses it over the head of the second base. And it goes towards the wall in a heating oven thingy. And so she goes to get the ball. So they say, Shay, go to third. And then she gets the ball and gives it to the shortstop. Right here, she picks it up, and then she bobbles like a hot potato, like this. Ooh, ah, ooh. So then Shay's going to third, and then she starts chasing Shay over here, and she throws it past the third base. And it goes past him towards the stage area and the speaker, and so he picks it up and he starts chasing Shay home. But Shay hits the base just in time before he gets tagged. And his team wins, and they pick him up on their shoulders, and they all say, Shay, 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 Shay. And they're so happy that his team won. Give these guys a round of applause. Thank you. You guys can have a seat. Thanks for your help. You guys can have a seat. Good job. Thank you. I got that. Have a seat. There you go. All right, give me 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. The last time. So listen. Here's why I give this example. How many seconds did it take this boy who said Shay could be on my team? How many seconds did it take him to say that? 2 seconds. And it changed his life forever. Because look, this pitcher, she could have literally walked and tagged Shay out. That's how slow he was. The first base, second base, shortstop, third base, they could have all walked and tagged Shay out. But they didn't. They threw it past each other on purpose. They bottled it on purpose. Because what they started realizing is that who won or lost the game, it wasn't as important as including this human being, making him feel welcome into this world, right? And so this changed his life forever, because not only did all the hearts start to change from this boy's action on the baseball field, that everybody started to accept Shay on the field, everybody at the whole school
from that day forward, just because of that one action, started to accept shame. All of you guys have that same power if you choose to use it for good and to include people and respect and appreciate diversity. I'm going to show you guys a video. This is about a boy named Matt. Everybody say Matt. Now Matt is from a school, an elementary school in Ohio. He's from a school in Ohio, and Matt was born with cerebral palsy. So when he runs and walks, he kind of has spasms on his legs, and it's hard for him to run. And he gets out of breath really fast. Well, guess what? They had school track day after school when it was warm outside. They had school track day outside. And the gym teacher came to Matt and said, you don't have to run if you don't want to, because he knows that he gets out of breath and it's hard for him to run. But Matt said, no, I want to try. So watch what happens when he starts to run, what his teacher and his classmates start to do. And then we're going to talk about it.
To race at one elementary school that really moved us, a little boy so determined to stay in the race, even when it looked like he couldn't make it any further.
Okay, Irish, I'm gonna just say go. You ready?
It was race day at Colonial Hills Elementary School near Columbus, Ohio.
Go.
They were off, and right there at the back of the pack, 11-year-old Matt Woodruff, determined to run with the rest of the class.
You ready?
But it wasn't long before Matt was trailing a bit. He had cerebral palsy and was told he didn't have to run that race and he could sit it out. But Matt wanted it. Making his way around that track, his proud mom videotaping the whole thing. Suddenly, Matt starts to slow down, starts to struggle. And watch the left corner of your screen. Right there, that's gym teacher John Blaine walking toward Matt on the field. Soon, some gentle coaching on his side. That gym teacher would stay right there the rest of the race, and then something else. His classmates begin to notice, and one by one, they start making their way toward Matt too. The crowd is swelling beside him, and so does their chant. Now rounding that final bend, his entire class in tow, every step of the way. Then his rally, teachers watching in the end, the cheers at the finish line. He did it. Afterwards, one of the partly finding in the midst of all of his fans. A high five there, and a hug. That race now going viral on the internet, and Matt told me just today on the phone what that moment was like. That entire class behind him.
It was tiring, but it really helped me, my classmates, my coach, and everyone supported me. It was really encouraging.
Mom, who was there taping it all, and Dad, who saw it later, both so proud of Matt.
I couldn't have been more proud of my son. It was very heartwarming.
Dad proud, and so are we. In fact, Matt told me if he had a race all again tomorrow, he would do it for sure. 808,000 hits now on that video on the internet.
All right, give it up for Matt. Nice. So look, this is so cool, you know, because his classmates, I mean, they started to come one by one to encourage him. And you saw he was kind of slowing down. First it was his teacher, but then all these students started coming. And some of them were younger, some were older, some were a different skin color, some were boy, some were girl. It didn't matter. They all came to encourage him. Is it safe to say that what happened to him is going to be on his heart for the rest of his life? That day? Yeah. But in a very positive way, right? That's the power that all of us have, guys, if we choose this. But how come we don't show more kindness? How come people aren't always like that? How come bullying happens? What do you think? Yeah. Maybe they just don't know how to help that person, right? So they're just going to join in with the crowd, maybe make fun of them. What else? So maybe they got bullied too, and they're going to make people feel how they felt. What's your name? Ethan, thank you. Yeah, what else? So maybe they feel alone. Yeah, sometimes when people are alone, they're trying to just get attention to fill that empty space. What else? So if their bucket, I saw that too on their bucket hasn't been filled either, maybe they don't want to give that back to someone else. Can I get a couple more right here? Yeah, how come? Jealous. Sometimes somebody's better at me than something or has something that I don't have, so I just put them down because of that. What were you going to say? Yeah. Well, right, so maybe that's what's happening to them, that it's been mean to their hearts, so they're just going to show the same pain to someone else. What's your name? Landra? Hands down. Kind of what Landra said and Ethan said, the biggest reason I see why people don't show more kindness, like my sign here says, need human kindness. Everybody say that. Need human kindness. This is me at a school in California, an elementary school outside, after I spoke there. But the biggest reason why people sometimes don't show kindness is because they're hurting in their hearts. And look, when we're first born, right? When we're first born, our hearts are kind of like this empty cup. Pretty much empty. People haven't said mean things to us. They haven't hurt our feelings. They haven't said that you're not tall enough. You're not good enough. You're not smart enough. You're not pretty enough. You're not enough. They haven't told us these things that hurt our hearts. So we don't have any pain. But little by little, when our feelings get hurt and people say things that hurt our spirit, our heart starts to get full like this. And it's a dark color to show the pain, right? But the biggest reason I see why we don't show kindness is because hurt people hurt people. Everybody say that. Hurt people hurt people. And what I mean by that, what Ethan said too, is that if somebody hurts my heart, and then I go push that hurt on someone else by how I treat them poorly, that's me hurting somebody else. I'm the hurt person that hurts other people. That's a choice though, right? And no matter how full of pain this gets, there's always room for love if we choose that, right? There's always room for love. Because if I keep filling this up and more pain, it's going to overflow. If it overflows, sometimes that goes on to other people because we treat them negatively. So it's true, hurt people, but it's also true if we choose this, that healed people can heal people. Everybody say, healed people heal people. And so what I mean by that is that if I choose to forgive somebody who's shown me only hate, which is not easy, but I forgive that person and show them love instead, then I become healed in my heart. And now I can go help heal other people, right? And so look, Dr. Martin Luther King, he said that darkness cannot drive out darkness. Only light can do that. He said hate cannot drive out hate. Only love can do that. Everybody say Irene Kapko. Irene Kapko, that's her in this picture. That's my friend. She's 103 years old. 103! That's a little bit older than you. But listen, Irene, I was at her party, her birthday party, and we're eating some chocolate frosting, sprinkle fudge cake. It was so good. I said, Irene, you're 103 years old. Tell me about your life. Tell me the good times, the bad times, the sad times, the mad times, the glad times, the times that rhyme with mad. And she said, Mr. Peace, her most painful memory was back in 4th grade. And I told the 4th graders this today. She was in 4th grade at the front of the class giving a presentation. And this happened over 90 years ago, but she still remembered like it happened yesterday because it was still on her heart. She was at the front of the class giving a presentation, and this boy came up from behind her, and he made fun of her because she was shorter than some of her classmates. He made fun of her because of her height and because of her weight, and she was heavier than some of her classmates. And it just humiliated her in front of everybody. And she kept thinking her whole life growing up that I'm too short to try this, I'm too heavy to try this, which were all lies. But it wasn't until she was 40 years old where she finally forgave this boy in her heart. And she became a youth worker. She became healed. She became a youth worker to help other students who felt like she felt. So she became a healed person to help heal other people. And I was speaking at a school in Indiana to 1,000 students in the gym at elementary school. And this second grade teacher came up and she interrupted me during my assembly in front of everybody. Where are my second graders at? Okay, hands down. The second grade teacher came up, she said, hey, hey Mr. Peace, everybody, I'm so sorry to interrupt you, but I just got to share something on my heart. And her first name was Kate. And I said, yeah, go ahead, here's the mic. And she said her most painful memory was 35 years ago, back in second grade. And she was the new girl at school. And right before lunch one day, this group of popular girls came up to Kate. They said, hey, Kate, you can sit with us today at lunch. Go get your lunch and then come sit by us. And she's like, are you guys serious? Is this a joke? And they're like, no, go get your lunch and then come sit by us. So she's like, okay. So she gets her lunch tray out of the lunch line and she starts walking to their table and she's like, oh my gosh, this is my shot. I finally fit in. I finally be accepted for who I am. So she goes to sit down. And as soon as she sits down, all the girls stand up on their chairs. And they shout across the cafeteria so everybody can hear them. They say, hey, everybody, look at Kate. She can't even afford nice clothes. And she runs out crying. And you see, her parents didn't have a lot of money growing up, so sometimes she wore the same outfit to school 3 times a week. And she was getting made fun of because of that. Well, she forgave those girls in her heart. But then she chose to become a second grade teacher. So that what happened to her, her most painful memory back in second grade, would never happen again to any of her students on her watch at her school. She became healed to help heal other people. And I was talking to a school in California, ready to sign out in the office, ready to leave for the day, right by the Pacific Ocean, the school. And this third grader named Dominic came up to me. He said, hey, Mr. Peace, do you want to know when my most painful memory was? I said, yeah, tell me. He said, it was 2 years ago in first grade. Where my first grade was at? Okay, hands down. He was in first grade, 2 years ago in first grade, and he said he had his heart broken by this girl, had his heart crushed. And I said, well, tell me what happened. He said there was a 5th grader on the bus, and every day for 2 months in a row, 2 months straight, this 5th grader turned to Dominic, who was a first grader, and said, you're never going to have any friends. You're never going to have any friends. Just because where he was born, in the Middle East, and in a whole different country, that's why she was teasing him. And he said, Mr. Peace, I cried myself to sleep the first night that it happened. I didn't want to go back to school. It felt like my heart broke into a billion pieces. Then he said something to me that I'll never forget. He said, but you know what, Mr. Peace? I said, what? He said, now I have best friends. Now I have best friends. How many of you guys have a best friend? Hands down. How many of you guys have a best friend because they play with you? Hands down. How many of you guys have a best friend because you got something in common? Hands down. How many of you guys have a best friend because they make you laugh? Hands down. How many of you guys have a best friend because they got your back? Hands down. So listen, Dominic started crying, and he pointed to his best friend David in the office. He said, Mr. Peace, that's my best friend David. Because when I was getting put down and teased and bullied and made fun of just because of my diversity, he stood up for me when I didn't have the courage to myself. That's a best friend. And can I see that $20 real quick? Can we get back for gas? But listen, this $20, not even 20 minutes ago, some of you guys were like, me, Mr. Peace, Mr. Peace. But if I went around this whole room and asked all of you why your best friend is your best friend, nobody would tell me it's because how much money they have or don't have, the clothes they wear, the house they live in, the car their parents drive. How come nobody would say those things? How come? How come we wouldn't say it's because of the money? Why? So it's not about the things or being popular, it's about their friendship, who they are. What else? How come nobody would say, that's my best friend because of how much money they have? How come? Thank you so much. Can you say that one more time?
It doesn't matter what you have unless it's something to help your best friend with.
High five. What's your name? Max. That's awesome. So he said, it's not about the things you have, it's about what you have in your heart, right? To help your best friends. And it's about seeing people's heart first I was talking to a school in Chicago, Illinois, and a 5th grader came up to me after my talk. Her name was Cheyenne. And she came up to me and she said, Mr. Peace, this girl named Jenny moved to our school this past fall, and she's in a wheelchair for life. She's in a wheelchair permanently. Jenny is paralyzed from her waist down. She can't use her legs. So she came up to me and said, Mr. Peace, the first day that Jenny got to our school, and that's the actual wheelchair, the first day that she got to school, Cheyenne's friends pulled her aside and said, don't even talk to this girl. She's different, she's weird. But Cheyenne said, no, I'm not going to listen to you. I'm going to listen to my heart. So she went up to Jenny and said, do you want to be my friend? And she said yes. And ever since that day at lunch, recess, library, gym, she includes Jenny. And then this 5th grader, her wisdom, she said, Mr. Peace, when I see her, I see this before this. I see her heart first before this wheelchair, this piece of equipment. And there's a speaker named Nick Vujicic. Everybody say Vujicic. Nick Vujicic is from Australia. He has no arms, no legs. That's how he was born. He's in his 30s, he has a wife, 2 kids, and he speaks all over the world. And that's how he was born. And he was talking at a school, at an elementary, in a gym about twice the size of this room. And on one side of the gym, there were some bleachers. And at the end of his assembly, there was a mom and her 3-year-old daughter watching the assembly in the bleachers. But after people started to leave and exit, the mom let her 3-year-old start to run around because she had to get her energy out, right? She was like this for 45 minutes trying to stay put. But once it was over, she started running all around the gym and hopping and skipping and cartwheel and twirling. And pretty soon this 3-year-old, who was the same height as Nick, started running right towards Nick and didn't even see him. And he sees her coming and he's off his wheelchair. Usually he's saying bye to people. But he sees her coming and he's like, oh no, because he can't move. He doesn't have arms or legs. So the last second she catches him on the corner of her eye and she slams on the brakes and they're face to face. And she takes a step back and she looks him up and down. She says, what's going on here? She's never seen him without arms and legs, right? But this 3-year-old, her next move without really thinking, she puts both of her arms behind her back like this, and she hugs him with her neck like this. And it was so beautiful because that's the only way he can hug, right? He doesn't have arms. And she didn't care how tall he was. She didn't care about his clothes. She didn't care whether he had arms or legs. All she cared about was this. And you know who else just cares about this? Puppies. These are my wife and I's 3 puppies. Anybody have a dog? Okay, hands down. This is Mrs. Murillo on the left. We have Kiki Melaniki in the middle. And we have Bare Bones Jones on the right. Hands down. This is them posing. Christmas. Easter. This is Bear's best friend, Dakota. They have play dates. Dakota has to wear a diaper. And he's also in a wheelchair. And the reason I'm showing you guys this, is because when Dakota was a baby puppy, his older brother, who was a different dog breed and a bigger dog, he was too rough with Dakota when he was playing with him. And he actually hurt him and paralyzed his 2 legs, just like Jenny. So he has to use this wheelchair to get around easier. But do you think that Bear cares at all that his best friend is disabled? No. All Bear cares about, and anybody that has a dog knows this, all he cares about is if we say it's time to play, he will run to the door, we say Dakota's coming over, and wait there for like 2 hours. And same with your dogs. When you left today, they're probably waiting by the door. As soon as you get home, no matter what kind of day you had or they had or what's on your heart, they're going to jump on you as soon as you get home, show you love, kisses, lick you to death, right? See your heart first. And they're going to show you unconditional love. Everybody say that. Unconditional love. And so what I mean by that is that we love everybody around us, whether they're taller, shorter, wider, thinner, wear glasses, don't, different skin color, doesn't matter. We show people love without any conditions. And this takes courage to see people for that. Any 8-year-olds here? Anybody 8-year-olds? Hands down. This is Jackson Bazant. Anybody seen the movie Wonder? Okay, hands down. This is a real life wonder. In the movie, the boy plays somebody that has Treacher Collins syndrome. And Jackson Bazant from Idaho, the state of Idaho, has that. He's 8 years old. And what that means is that the bones and the tissue in your face don't fully form. So sometimes it looks like your face is kind of disfigured. Well, guess what? Some of his classmates, because they were afraid of him and didn't really get to know him, they were calling him monster and all these names. So his dad went on social media, online, and he put a video up and a post, and he said, will anybody give my son some encouragement? So people your age, 8-year-olds, 7-year-olds, 6-year-olds, 10-year-olds from all across the world sent him videos to encourage him. So they were having an impact on somebody that they didn't even know or meet. You guys can do the same thing, not just within these walls at Thornton Creek, but you guys can have an impact on people even across this world through social media like this. And so guess what? The next day he came back to school and somebody was still calling him a name. Somebody still called him ugly. And somebody said that he was a freak. And so 5 boys stepped forward and they said, no, that's not how we treat people at our school. That's not going to work for us. And ever since they did that and had the courage to stand up for him, everybody has accepted Jackson. All of you guys have that power. And that means we see people for their heart first, but we also see people for this. Every one of you on the palm of your hands, with the lines of your hand, you have the letter M etched on your palm. It could be on one hand, it could be on both hands. Sometimes there's a faint line that connects it. And if you can't see it right now, your teachers are going to spend the rest of the week home. Okay? But anyways, this M stands for miracle. Everybody say miracle. Upside down W stands for worthy. Everybody say worthy. Here's the problem. So many students that I speak to, this is Dylan, a 3rd grader. So many students I speak to, they don't see themselves as miracles. I spoke at his school, and he came up to me crying after my talk. He said, Mr. Peace, I'm getting put down just because of my size, because I'm small for my age. And he pulled this out of his pocket, and it breaks my heart. But he said, Mr. Peace, you forgot that M also stands for mistake. He was called that from someone that he cares about, and he thought that was the truth. So he wrote this down and put it in his pocket, and he looked at this once a day to remind him who he was. It says, I'm a mistake. But he said, Mr. Peace, I don't want to believe that anymore. I want to believe this, that I'm a miracle. So his class that week that I spoke, they sent me this, all their hands, to basically say, we're going to support him, we're going to encourage Dylan, and we're going to be there to remind him that he's a miracle, right? Because all of us can do that. If we choose kindness, teachers will know what's going on here. But I've had the opportunity to speak at different communities to try to bring some healing after tragedies. And I had the privilege of speaking in Connecticut at this school, Sandy Hook. And the 2nd grade class gave me this. They all signed it. And it says, one kind word can change someone's entire day. One kind word can change someone's entire day. Do you guys believe that? And listen, this whole community, they don't want to focus on the tragedy, on the bad stuff that's happened. They want to focus on kindness. All of us can choose this. And we can all choose love. You'll see that the word that's in focus in the middle, in red, is love. That sometimes bullying and hate and all these things are still here, we can still show love. I had a 3rd grader named John who sent me a message after I spoke. And 2 weeks after I spoke, he got tripped in the hallways. He got tripped. And John stood right back up, and he walked over to the bully, and he shook his hand, smiled, and said, have a great day. And he walked away. And the bully's mouth dropped. He was like, what? Because he was expecting him to cry or try to fight back and fail or run away. But John did the opposite. The biggest thing that this person who was hurting needed, he showed him love. I can't guarantee that bullying will stop after I speak at a school. I can guarantee, though, that the response to people that hurt us will change. That we'll still show them love and still see them for who they are, if we choose this. And I even had a 6-year-old, where are my kindergartners at? Show of hands, kindergartners? Okay, hands down. I had a 6-year-old kindergartner make me this book. And a lot of people write me things, and I save them. And it's from a girl named Lillian. She said, thank you, Mr. Peace. Aim for the good days, not the bad days. Love, Lillian. And the inside, she left blank of this book. I said, why'd you leave it blank? She said, I did that on purpose, Mr. Peace. Because we choose good or bad. We choose what we're going to make every day and how we're going to treat people, with love or with hate. This is a 6-year-old choosing love and kindness. If a 6-year-old can do this, all of us can do this, right? And we have to, guys, because the need is there. I had a couple students, and right after I spoke, these are 4th graders, Anaya and Mackenzie. They made a Mr. Peace Club. And I said, what's that? They said, well, you write your name and the date that you joined, and you write down people that you think need a friend. People that you think are lonely, people that could use kindness. And then you go and be their friend. At lunch, at recess, they're up to 40 people that are part of their club. I just spoke there a few weeks ago. It's changing the whole culture of their school. You guys all can do this and have that power, and we have to. I had a 2nd grader that came up to me crying, and she fell into my arms, and she said she's just getting teased and put down just because she's taller than her classmates. And that's how she was born. And she was the new girl at school. And she tried making friends at lunch and sat down at this one seat, and as soon as she sat down at the table, all the students stood up and went to a different table and embarrassed her in front of everybody. So she tried the 2nd table, and she sat down, and everybody stood up at that table and walked away and humiliated her. So she tried the 3rd table, and she sat down next to this boy, and he looked at her and he said, you can sit here, you can stay. And now they're best friends. And now she makes it her job to go around, because she knows how it felt to feel alone. Every day at lunch, she looks for somebody who's maybe alone or needs a friend, and now she's helping them to keep the kindness going. Same thing on recess with their buddy bench. I don't know if you guys have that here, but the buddy bench where if someone needs someone to play with or a friend, they send the bench at recess outside, and a student leader comes up to them and asks them to play. All of you guys have this power. We have to do this, right? So look, I'm going to give your teachers some of my cards for you to make copies for you guys. If you need to reach out to me on YouTube or social media, if you want to share something on your heart, you guys are also going to get a chance to share something with me at lunch today, because I'm going to be here for all your lunches. So if you guys want to talk to me, something's on your heart, you guys can do that. If you guys want to follow, I got my website here, mrpeace.org. You guys can get the music there too. You guys can get these t-shirts in different colors to keep the message going. The back side's the peace sign, one race human. I also have these shirts in different colors that say, keep your head up, upside down. So if you're feeling down or look down, it says keep your head up. So you guys can continue the message this way, but more importantly, continue the message by how you choose to live and treat other people. If something I shared today touched your heart, can you raise your hand? If a story I shared touched your heart, hands down. So that means we're given a gift. I have 45 minutes. I got 3 minutes left if I can, guys. And if I can touch your heart for 45 minutes or an hour, think about the impact you can have on people around you over a whole school year, a whole lifetime, if you choose to share that gift. And all these bracelets I wear, I have thousands of these, and I pick about 10 or 12 before each talk. This is one of my bags. But they're all from students your age, some younger, some older, who said, Mr. Peace, thanks for coming today. Thanks for touching my heart. And I wear these as a reminder of their stories. These become my strength and my armor, right? You guys touched my heart today. I hope to be back again soon. The other thing I'm going to challenge you guys to do, and I'll let your principal know about this, is a kindness pledge. This started with a school in California. Everybody at the school traces their hand, and they write the M on it, where their M is located for miracle, and they write one positive thing they're going to do every day to show more kindness, to appreciate diversity, to include people. And they commit to that every day. Because the talk today was about diversity. Everybody say diversity. And more importantly, it was about what you guys stand for here at Thornton Creek. Which is care, cooperate, help other people, appreciate them. Everybody's unique. Respect them, even though people are different. And empathize, walk in their shoes, get to know them for who they are. I'm going to close with some hip-hop, because that's what I do. So 2 fingers up for peace. I get all my hip-hop skills from your principal. This song is about diversity. We're going to close with that. I'll take a hug or a high five at lunch. Thanks for touching my arm. Here we go. 2 fingers up for peace. Mic check. Here we go. Check 1, 2. Mr. Peace. How we do here at Thornton Creek. It's all about care. So listen in like this. Here we go. Listen, come on. Hey, D-I-V-E-R-S-I-T-Y. Have to respect what's on the outside. So do it, please. Cause we're all human beings. Yeah, here at Thornton Creek Elementary, we appreciate the dignity of everyone. Yeah, diversity is fun. Yo, it's also important and it's cool. It's what brings life to our school. We have to open our hearts, yeah, we must, to others who are different than us. Cause sometimes our closed minds, they bend, shield us from meeting new friends. Only cause we only look at skin color and don't care about what's within. But no matter who you are or how you look, you just gotta pay attention to this look. So Thornton Creek, hey, I'm saying here is the deal. I'm saying D-I-V-E-R-S-I-T-Y. Have to respect what's on the outside. So do it, please, cause we're all human beings. Yeah, here at Thornton Creek Elementary, we appreciate the dignity of everyone. Yeah, diversity is fun. Fun, fun. Yeah, diversity is fun. Thanks for touching my heart, guys. We'll see you soon. Peace.